Welcome to this MSActivator video demo session. In this session, I will focus on creating objects in the MSActivator OBMF framework. So first, let's log into the web portal, and in the repository, select the place where I will store my object. So under command definition, CIS operator, then I choose my customer and Fortinet because we are going to work on Fortinet, and then policy management folder, and this is where I will create my object. So let's first delete the existing objects just so that we start from scratch. So here is a way to create a new object. So let's call it security policy. Security policy should be fine for the tag. Just click on OK, and then I'm directly redirected to the object editor console. So with some tab, vertical tab on the left, and the first one to be selected, of course, is the information tab, because that's the first empty tab that we have. So this is where we provide basic information on the object, meta information. So this is not directly related to device configuration. So first, let's pick up an icon for this firewall security object. Let's put a description. Security policy. We can put a category, which will make it useful later on for organization. In the example tab, I can provide some real configuration example. So from a device CLI, I will just copy and paste some FortiGate security policy configuration. And basically, this is what we want to achieve in the device with the object, adding this kind of configuration or removing it or updating it. So first thing to do is to implement the creation of the policy. So creation of a policy is going to be this. As you can see, it's a piece of FortiGate CLI, but instead of the values, we have some parameters. One here, one here, 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 there, and there. And as you can see, the object editor is able to detect these parameters, and then you can of course provide typing, so string, boolean, integer, password, IP address, mask. We also manage IPv6 addresses, and of course because we are in the object paradigm, you can provide references to other objects. And of course this is where it will be useful, because in Fortinet, interfaces are not directly configured as IP address, but as other object that will contain IP address. So yes, you can provide object reference, and then you can provide some default values, and this will be transformed into drop-down object in the object editor console. The same way you can provide the delete. So I have my delete already ready here. And deleting a firewall policy is all about running the delete CLI with the correct object ID. And the object ID is the only parameters that we will get in each and every object, because that's the unique way to know what object we are talking about in the MSActivator database. So here I have an object with a create and a delete, very basic. We can also add the update, but let's stick with the create and the delete. And I will save my object. So now my object firewall policy has been designed. It's very basic, but this is how you design a basic firewall policy object. So now let me quit this editor and go to some already existing set of objects. So here we have another object firewall policy, but this one is much more advanced. So you have the example, some information, the variables. As you can see, all the variables are listed here, and you have ways to first provide some type to the variable. So see that this the object ID is an integer, and the source address, destination address, service are references to other objects. The other object is called firewall address. So now we just have a reference to an object called firewall address, and this is the object firewall address. So I can edit this object, and we get the same type of web interface, another icon, another category object, because this is a basic object, then some variables, the create, because this will tell the MSA what command to send to the device to create an address called firewall address, a firewall address in the FortiGate. You have the update, which in the FortiGate world is like a create, and the delete that will let you delete this address from the FortiGate. So you might have also seen that we have an import. The import is the other main part of the object, and this is the feature that will allow you to import running configuration from devices into the MSActivator database. So this is very useful for first brownfield deployment, meaning you have some running device and you want to import them into the MSActivator and then manage them with the MSActivator. And it's also very useful for configuration remediation, where you might have some manual configuration done on the device and you want to synchronize your MSActivator database with what's running on the device. This is to address the lack of dynamic inventory that is sometimes the case in the service provider environment. So now I have my objects, so firewall address, firewall policy, and firewall service. And with these three objects, I am able to fully manage firewall policy on a FortiGate. So this will be in another demo session. So that is it for service design in the MSActivator. Thank you very much.